Today I'm going to be showing you how to make two different casseroles. One's going to be made from Walmart and be $1.57 per serving. The other's going to be from Dollar Tree and only be 78 cents per serving. Each of these casseroles will serve 8 people. The first casserole we're making is a ham and hash brown casserole. Now you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and get your pan ready with some non-stick spray. I'm going to be using some pepper, garlic powder, salt, some cubed ham, sour cream, a can of cream of chicken soup, a bag of this chopped broccoli. You could use chopped spinach or whatever chopped vegetable you would like. And then I have 2 bags of hash browns that are frozen. These 2 I got from Aldi and I had on hand, but you can get a 4-pound bag from Walmart, and that's the price that I put in. Then I've got some of these French fried onions and some cheese as well. Now the first thing you're going to do is dump your hash browns into your pan. You can do it in a separate bowl if you'd rather mix it in a separate bowl. I just went ahead and did it in the pan because this pan is really huge. I have it for when we host people on the weekends. And you could go ahead and grind up your potatoes. You could grate them yourself, but I wanted to do this in order to save a little bit of time because I was trying to whip this together in about 10 minutes before company came over. You're going to add in your cubed ham and your whole can of your cream of chicken soup, as well as your whole can of sour cream. Now, when you're on a budget, you definitely want to get every last bit out of that jar. And my tricks tend to be either you add a little bit of water in and swirl it around, or you can go ahead and take some of the mixture of whatever you're about to mix it into, stick that into your can and swish that around, and that helps to get every last bit out of the can before, so that way you're not wasting any of it. Then you're going to add in your shredded cheese. I had some that was already shredded, but you could get the block and that should be cheaper. In most places it will be cheaper to get the block. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our seasonings. I'm doing salt, pepper, and garlic powder. You can do whatever seasonings you like, but I find these 3 seasonings tend to go really well with potatoes. You could also do some onion powder, or you could make them into more of a spicy potato and add in like a little cayenne or something to add a little kick. You could also have a jar of hot sauce on the side that people could add to it. I did not add the chopped broccoli at this step, but you could if you were adding it to the whole casserole. I chose to mix everything together and then split it in half and only add it to about half of the casserole, just because we have a couple of people that were coming that night that did not like broccoli, and I knew that, and I figured, it wouldn't really cause me a lot of extra work to separate it a little bit, and that way they'd have some that was broccoli free for their sake. Then you're going to add your chopped onions on. If you were planning on freezing this casserole, which you can freeze it, I would leave the chopped onions off at this point and just put tinfoil on top and go ahead and freeze it. And then you would take it out of the freezer, put it either on the counter or in the fridge, either a few hours before or the day before if you're sticking it in the fridge. Then you're going to go ahead and cook it in your oven at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes, and it's going to come out nice and heated through. This one was a hit. Everybody got seconds and it kept telling me that they really enjoyed it, so I'm definitely going to put this on my repertoire for future weeks. Our next casserole is going to be a stuffed pepper casserole. We got all our ingredients from Dollar Tree. So we got this pepper stir fry blend, this block of cheese, which you can shred up. I got my taco seasoning in bulk from Sam's, but you can also purchase it at Dollar Tree. I have these 3 cubes of their chicken bouillon cubes, salt, some Cajun seasoning, a tube of their sausage, and 1 pack of their rice. And we're going to get to cooking. First up, you're going to want to brown your sausage. Then you're going to take your chicken bouillon cubes and you're going to just smash them in. I find they dissolve better in heat versus something cold. So this is what I'm doing in order to help make sure it incorporates fully into the whole casserole and doesn't end up in clumps of saltiness throughout the casserole. Then you're going to stir it all together. Next, you're going to go ahead and in your greased pan, you're going to go ahead and put in 3 cups of rice. I'm doing 3 cups. You could do more because I think this container actually has 5 cups of rice in it, but you would want to up the amount of seasoning that you are putting into the whole casserole as well if you are adding in more rice. Next, I went ahead and added in that sausage and bouillon cube blend and my pepper and onion blend as well. I love this pepper and onion mix. I feel like it adds such a nice pop of color for the whole casserole dish, and then also it's just a nice added veggie whenever you need it. Next, you're going to go ahead and add in your taco seasoning. If you have a taco seasoning packet, you'll add in the packet. If you have a big case like I do, it's about 1/4 of a cup of the seasoning. Then I added in my Cajun seasoning. You could add more if you want it to be a little spicier. I like a decent amount of spice, but not too much. I like it so that it's, spicy enough to taste the spice, but not spicy enough to burn my mouth. Then you're going to add in your water. You're going to add double the water, double of what the rice is that you put in. So I put in 3 cups of rice, so we're putting in 6 cups of water. You're going to give it all a good mix just to make sure all the seasonings are incorporated into the whole casserole and that you don't get any clumps of seasoning throughout. Now you're going to cover it with tin foil and stick it into your oven at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes or until the rice is tender. If you do have leftovers of this meal, you could actually stuff this all into actual peppers and make actual stuffed peppers, or you can stick it into tortilla shells. Those were 2 ideas I had on how to spice up the leftovers if you end up having leftovers of this dish. After the 45 minutes is up, I went ahead and took out the casserole dish and I uncovered it and added the shredded cheese on top. Now you're going to stick it back into your oven, and you're just going to want to melt that cheese. If you were wanting it to get a little golden, you could stick it under the broiler, but I would watch it very carefully just because when things are under the broiler, they do tend to burn if you aren't careful. It's been about 5 more minutes and I took it out. The cheese is all nice and melty. You could add more cheese on each serving as desired. Now I know a number of you said you have large families to feed, and one thing you might not know about me is I grew up in a family of 8. So that's why I made these casseroles to serve 8. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.